Time is the school on which we learn. Time is the fire in which we burn. Delmore Schwartz. DC Tribe, Josh Thomas. I want to talk to you today about time. Time, as you know, is a non-renewable resource. And sometimes we hear or even say ourselves, gosh, I wish I just had a few more hours in the day. You go and find somebody who's quote unquote busy running around. What is the thing that you need most for your business right now? Well, I need about 3 more hours in the day. I need about 10 more hours in the week. No, you don't. But okay, let's roll with it. Let's say instead of 24 hours in a day, there are 25 hours in a day. Boom, you got an extra hour. What are you going to do with that hour? How are you going to spend that hour? Be honest. Really think about it. What are you actually going to do with that time? If you've had 24 hours in a day, just like every other person on this planet, for all of eternity, suddenly you've got an extra hour. You know what I think is going to happen? I think you're just going to do the same thing you were doing with the other 24. And so more time doesn't necessarily solve your problem. Oh gosh, I wish there were a few extra hours in the day. Do you really? Or do you wish that maybe you could use your time more efficiently? Because if you had more time in the day, if you're already running yourself ragged, if you're already running yourself up to the limit and then you're just crashing, if you're already binging Netflix for 2 hours a day, now it's going to be 3 hours a day. Now you're going to be running yourself ragged 1 extra hour, all the way up to the crashing at night, going to sleep. That's what people do. If you have a resource, we're consumers. We consume resources. Time is a resource, and we're going to consume it if we have more of it. So we really need to start thinking about not necessarily how do we find more time in the day, but how do we use our time more efficiently? And how do we use our time more effectively? So I want to give you an example here. Let's go and talk about money. Money, as we all know, or as some of you may know, money is a magnifier. It's not going to solve any problems. It's just going to magnify them. On the other side, on the contrary, if you're a great person and you don't have a whole lot of problems, money, well, it may create some problems, but it will also make it easier for you to live your life in the way that you've always been living it. It's a magnifier. If you're an asshole, more money is just going to make you a bigger asshole or an asshole with more money, okay? If you are an inefficient person, more time is just going to magnify the fact that you are inefficient because you're going to fill that time. If you're a busybody, more time is just going to make you a busier body. You see what I'm getting at here? Money and time, they're kind of related. They're not the same thing, but most people understand money. Most people understand how to value money. They don't understand how to value time. Well, I can always just go and get more time. No, you can't. You have less time right now than you did when I started talking at the beginning of this podcast. Time is a non-renewable resource. And so I titled this podcast 25 hours a day because I really want to drive home the fact that this is toxic thinking. This is toxic behavior. Well, I wish I had more time. That's not a good idea. What you need to really focus on is you need to focus on how do I make my time more valuable? I don't want to create more of it. I want to make what I have more valuable. And I'll give you an example. I usually don't talk about anything current or specific in my podcast because I don't know when you're listening to this. You could be listening to this in the future from outer space with your alien friends in the year 3000 or something. I don't know. But right now it's 2022, and I'm recording this podcast, and it's June 14th, 2022. And I've got probably 12 calls on my schedule today. I got a lot going on. Launching a new product with one of my clients. And I also have a product of my own that I'm trying to get out that's going to launch at the end of the month. And on top of that, I have like 12 calls. I've got quite a bit going on. None of that I would consider busy work necessarily. And then I realized, oh crap, it's Tuesday. I got to release a podcast. And I didn't record it yet. And so here I am in the tiny sliver of a break that I have recording this podcast. And this is the only break I'll have. And then I'm doing the gauntlet. Now, I'm sharing this with you because of all people who could use an extra hour in the day, it's definitely me. Oh, I could totally use an extra hour in the day. What would I do with that hour? I'd probably just fill it up with more work. I don't know if that's good for me. I don't know if that's good for my heart or my general health or my family or my friends or my kid. I would probably just fill it up with more work. And I don't think that's a good use of my life. And so instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make the time that I have more valuable. I don't need 25 hours in a day. I'm fine with 24. All of the most successful, inspirational, transformational people that I've ever met or know of or read about, they've all made all of their successes with 24 hours a day. You're not any more special or capable than they are, and they're not any more special or capable than you are. The difference is what they're doing with that time. So I want to really, really internalize this. You don't need any more time. And when you catch yourself thinking that, gosh, I wish there was just a few more hours in the day. Stop and realize what that actually means. Time, just like money, is a magnifier. If you have more time, you're just going to be more of what you are for a longer period. That's going to do it for today. We're going to wrap up, and I want to give you an exercise. I want to ask you a question. I want you to figure something out with your schedule. Take a look at your schedule today. And when you're looking at your schedule today, or for the whole week, whatever works best for you, and I want you to try to find an extra hour to shave off. Then you'll find that extra hour in your day. You won't have 25 hours in a day, but shave off an hour of work. Shave off an hour of Netflix. Shave off an hour of hanging out and drinking beer with your buddies. Go and find 1 hour to shave off of that. And then take that hour, that newly found hour, that extra hour that you just got in the day, and do whatever the hell you want with it. You want an extra hour in the day? You got it. But we don't need to warp space-time continuum for that. You just need to take a look at your calendar and prioritize. So the challenge is, take a look at your calendar and your schedule and find 1 hour that you can just shave off. Nope, I don't need to do this for 6 hours. I can do it for 5. And just find a way to make that work. Don't make any excuses. Oh, well, I just really need to do this thing. Oh, I really need to do that thing. Not really. You don't need to do anything. If you're opening your eyes in the morning and you're taking in a breath, that's all you really need to do today. Everything else is optional. And so I want you to think about that. You don't need to do anything. So take a look at your schedule, find 1 hour that you can just shave off, and take that hour and see what you end up filling it up with. Do you fill it with work? Do you fill it with fun? Do you fill it with something that is furthering you as a human being? Do you fill it with family time, socialization? What do you fill that time with? There's your answer. And if we ever do warp the space-time continuum and there are 25 hours in a day, then you'll know what you're going to do with it. Until next time, let's go do something.